Right, it is now turn 3. So the first thing we do, as per the beginning of every turn, is we go and select a god card. The Indians get Flame of the Gods. The gods give the warriors weapons made of fire, one turn only. Select a unit, they will have impact against all. That's very useful because this is the second round of combat. In the second round of combat, there is no impact. It's a first round ability only. So that'll be useful. I can see the Indian elephants applying that. Alexander's boys will get Whim of the Gods. The gods decide to even the battle on a whim, of course. The player with the highest death dice value gains 2 melee dice used anywhere. So at this moment, nobody's got any death dice. No unit has died. So this can't be played. So at some point, that can be played and it'll be useful. But for the moment, no good. So let's start the turn off by pulling out a dice and see who gets what. Alexandrian player. I think I know exactly where they're going to go. Let's not muck about. This is what the Alexandrians have been gearing up to from the beginning, to get this huge pike block smashing into lightweight medium infantry. So let's get them moving. Right, the dice are all allocated. Everybody's going to try and get a piece of the action. It's two. The pike block moves 2, so this one will move less than 2, but it will stop on contact with the enemy, and they'll stop as corner support of the enemy. So let's move all this lot in. So after the movement, this is what we end up with. We have an overlap here, and this unit here will not provide support overlap against this unit because it is himself engaged with this one. However, going to the other side, this unit here will provide overlap support to this unit because they are not engaged. Now this is going to be a rather sad affair. The pike block is 4 dice versus foot. The Indians are 1 dice versus foot. Hopefully they could have done some damage along the way in. However, they're lucky in that they have a support from here, 1 dice. So it's 2 dice versus 4 plus any attrition they took on the way in. So let's do that. So the pike have done very, very well. Very well indeed. Almost the perfect score. To the Indians' reply of their 2 dice. Not bad. Not bad, not good at all, not as good as the pike block. So now let's apply this damage. Okay, the results of that first encounter is the bow have gone from 22 wound cohesion points to 1 left. They took 21 points of damage. So they got 1 left. The pike block has taken a further, there we go, red flag, which is that one there, has taken another 6 points. So there's down from 20 to 14, which is below, which is bang on their 50% mark. So the results is they've gone straight to 1 point from death, and these boys are holding on to being 50% losses. So we also need to give these guys a dice showing that they've done support. Now we'll apply that same damage across and we'll come back and see what the result is. So the bow have all fought and it's down to the horde result, and I just had to show you the horde result because I couldn't believe it. Horde are 2 dice versus foot, and this is what the pike rolled: 6, 5, 1 and 12, 2. So that is 14 points of damage. However, the 2 horde dice rolled 12. I think they're really up for it. So I'll apply that damage. So the end result is everybody here has fought or supported, and in the first turn 3 Indian units are less than 50%, we know the red one's only got 1 point left, so it's holding on for dear life for the first round. The next round we'll take it out, but it all depends on whose initiative comes out first, because this little unit here could turn around and change the outcome completely, but we shall see. So all the damage has been recorded here with cohesion points left. It is now time to pull out a new dice. Right, new dice. Let's see whose turn it is. It is the Indian turn. Let's roll that dice over there and go over there. Right, the Indian army, apart from these cursed unit, which are going to stay there, don't want to go anywhere with them, might attack the light horse. Has had a bit of a kicking here, which was to be expected. However, we've got the heavy knight cavalry chariot waiting to seal any breaches or attack anything that comes through and defend the temple, where we have some gods and their cards. Here Poros will stay behind and watch for a gap to come through, and this is where the Indian dice is going to be applied in this group here, combat for all 4. So I'll take another 4 dice and apply them to here, and for good measure this unit will play Flame of the Gods and will count impact for this turn, even though it's the second turn and he would not have had impact. So let's plonk the dice on for all the parties involved and roll the combat. So the dice are all placed, and you can see that the cavalry has got a 3, which means it's going to be support, as is the pike block has a 3 as support. Alexander and the blue elephant are really giving each other a pasting. Both are below 50%, so the 6 reminds you they're going to be 1 dice less in melee. Alexander is 4 versus mounted, however he's suffering from 50% loss of cohesion, so he loses 1 dice. As with the elephants, they're also suffering from cohesion, so they also lose 1 dice. Alexander gets 1 for his being a general, so there's your 4. So let's do those. Particularly pathetic score, I'm afraid. So it's 6, 9, 10. And the elephant, which has got Flame of the Gods, so he counts impact, and he's done very well. He's rolled a total of 18. The 2 6s means one of them will cause an impact of 2 additional dice. So let's put these. So let's put these 2 dice here, or 4 dice, and get 2 more for one of the 6s for impact. So there's additional 7 points. So now let's total this up and apply to this sheet. Okay, the end result is the elephant took another 10 points of damage, which reduced it from 13 to 3. However, Alexander went from 7 points, minus 27, which takes a 7 off, and then minus 20. The minus 20 is important because if the elephant had also died and gone into minus numbers, whoever went into the least minus numbers is the victor and wins the round of combat. The first thing that happens for the victor is all its cohesion. Well, you take the damaged unit off first, so that's gone. Alexander's gone, and if he was still fighting you wouldn't do this, but because he is now not engaged in any, the blue elephant is not engaged in any more combat, all his cohesion is immediately restored back to 30, so we can just rub that out and then carry on the game. Small correction: after the combat is over, all the damage or cohesion loss is removed. However, you're never going to be the same as you was in the first turn, and this is done by a dice roll. So you take the 30, which was the original starting value of cohesion, and you minus it a d6, which is 4. So therefore this blue elephant will end up with 26 cohesion and that will not change for the rest of the game. So simply easiest thing to do is just to do a circle. So excuse me while the camera wobbles. So 26 with a circle, that's its maximum for the rest of the game. In a second round of combat, you would do the same thing again, d6 minus 26 to find out its new cohesion level. They will degrade over the battle, and it depends how much fighting they do. The more fighting they do, the more they'll degrade when they first go in. So you're pristine when you start, not so when you're in the middle of the battle. Right, Alexander is placed to one side with his death dice, which is valued at 6 because that is the cost of a general. And we move on to the next round of the next combat, which is the red elephant, this time supported by the blue elephant, which is not engaged in combat anymore. Now the red elephant gets 4 dice plus 1 red one for the support from the elephant to the side. The knights are got 4 dice and no other supports, no other bonuses. So we now roll these dice. So take Alexander's dice, and they've not done too badly. That's 10, 16 points. The elephant gets their 5 dice and has done not so good. He's got 10 points there. This is the second round of combat, so the impact doesn't apply. And then these 2 dice have let him down. So that's 10, 14 points. So 14 points. Now let's apply that damage to the 2 units. Right, damage applied. Not so good. The companions took 14 points of damage, which took them to 0. However, the red elephant was on 15 and took 16 points of damage, which puts it to -1. Therefore, they are the loser. So they will be removed. Right, the elephant is removed, and a 6 death dice is placed for this unit. However, the Indians previously got favoured of the gods. Love these warriors and give them a second chance. Select a dead unit and bring back from the temple, remove death dice. So the death dice is removed and goes back in, well, we'll go in back in the bag, well, right now, because we're going to play that card right now. And the elephant will appear from the temple. So we'll place him along the base edge next to the temple, and that's where he'll start from immediately. This is where the gods really throw spanners in the works for the enemy's success. So, and the Alexandrians have rolled a 2, so their damage is 28 minus 2, and that's what they start again with, 26. We'll circle that to remind us that that's their maximum they can go back to, and that's how they are. Now we need to do the combat for the other knights. Now the blessed knights will get their 4 dice versus foot. They don't have any supports from anywhere, and the medium infantry get their 2 dice. However, they will now get supports. One from the knights at this side, one from the pike block on that side. So it's basically 4 dice each. So let's roll for the Indian dice. And they have done very well. They've scored a total of 16. And the Alexandrians, they've done 16 also. 10, 6. So it's 16 apiece. Let's apply that damage. So having applied that damage, the medium javelins go to -2, and the blessed chariots knight 1 go to 6. However, they're blessed, so they will gain back d6 points because they drop below 50. They gain back 2 points, so that takes them to 8. Now they'll survive, however the medium infantry are dead. So let's apply that. So the knights survive and the medium infantry join the ranks of the dead. They cost 3 points, so they are counted as 3 on their death dice. Now it just remains for the Indian dice to recover the knights -1, so which is a good roll for the knights. So they are now 28 -1, 27. So they'll go into combat with 27 cohesion next time. Very successful. So it's time for another dice, and this time it's the Alexandrians, and I think we'll give that straight to the artillery piece. The artillery piece will want to shoot straight away. He's got 2 enemies both within charge reach, and therefore the priority is potential charges, target directly to the front or nearest target in arc, which they all apply. So it's the second one, target directly to the front. So they'll roll 1d6. Unfortunately they only did 1 wound on the enemy, so I'll apply that. Time to select another dice, and it is Alexandrian. So let's have a little think about what they can do with their dice. For the Alexandrian dice, there's very few options here. Everything has engaged or carried out an activity till we get to this section here. Well, there's no point charging the light horse by themselves forward. Let's bring up some skirmisher support and see what we can do with them. So we'll just go forward, but we won't leave the rough going, and these guys can move 3. So it's 1, 2, 3. Go to the tip there, and we'll add that. And we'll do it as a group move. So we'll now apply dice to both the units. So it's a group move, dice applied for both units. There we go. That's them. Time to pick another dice. And it's an Indian dice. Well, over here we have the elephant, but there's no real threats. Everything here has moved, so there's no worries there. The chariot, that can also move, but again there's no real immediate threat or anywhere need to move. So we come back to this side. We have a brand new elephant to move, but he's not going to get anywhere for the moment, so let's leave him. However, the inferior cavalry has got a choice. Next turn it's more likely going to get shot by 3 elements. So what we could do is assign the dice to them, and they can diagonal move to there for 2 movements, and then 3, 4, and engage the light horse. The light horse could evade, but they won't. They'll stand and fight, because very soon there'll be skirmishers support coming in to aid in the battle, and it won't be over very quickly. Neither of them can inflict that much damage on each other, so they'll fight. So we apply the dice as follows. There's a command dice for both players, and then the cavalry is 3 versus mounted. However, it is inferior cavalry, so it loses 1 dice, leaving it with 2. And the light horse also have 2 dice. So let's just do their battle between them. So they get 4 points, which is not particularly good, and the cavalry managed to do 9 points. So let's now apply that damage. Neither unit went to less than 50% cohesion, so the curse unit rule does not apply, and that's the end of their little combat. Going back to the bag, we know that there's 3 dice left, and it's going to be 3 dice for the Indian units. All of Alexander's men have moved, so we've got 3. So they now have to decide what they're going to do about the situation they find themselves in for next turn. Let's see. What we'll do is we'll try and get this elephant forward to try and support this unit here, which is about to get destroyed next turn. So we'll go diagonally across for 2 points, and then we can go forward for 1. Make sure we line up as best as we can behind them. Sorry, gone too far forward. There you go. There we go. So that's them lined up. That's there. Similar sort of thing here we're going to do with the elephant is we're going to do a diagonal move to there, which uses up 2 of its movement, and then a single step forward. So most it can do that sits 3, and give them the dice there. And for the knights we will do a turn for 1 and go 2 steps forward, and that's the most they can do. They can only turn once, so that's them done. This ends turn 3. Let's collect dice and get ready for turn 4.